Hey, everybody. We do have a couple protocols that we're going to do, but right off the bat, let's go ahead and take some questions. Anything goes.
Question.
Hey, Peggy.
Hey, my
What'd you
friend.
get
Benihi. Is it?
Benahi.
Yeah, that's it. Is that internal or inhalation?
You
topical?
actually can take that internal, but the reason to take it internal is like you'd have something like candida or something like that. So mostly topical.
Okay, but I think I do have the
Candida.
yeah, out of whack kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I have been
would,
putting it topical and breathing it, but I thought I better ask before I start putting in my water.
No, it should be fine. Like a couple drops a day should be good. And I would rotate it with tea tree. Taking it. Yeah.
Okay. Good
Tea
deal.
trees are really good antifungal too. The Benahi is supposed to be a bit better, and it's supposed to be a bit more of a detoxifier.
I used it with like a soap in my underarms, and you could feel it. Not as good as the bay laurel kind of feeling, but before I put it internally, I thought I better ask.
Yeah, so, it should be good.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome. Yeah, I've been trying to track that down for quite a while. So, or just like better ways of treating funguses, on the body and in the body. And so that was one of the byproducts of that search.
Great, thank you very much.
You're so welcome.
All right, I have two hands raised. I see Susan. Go ahead.
Hey, Susan.
Hi, darling. It's so nice to see you.
Good to see you.
We say that laughing because you don't really see me.
I see it back in my head. I see you in my mind.
Thank you. I get to actually see you. So I spent some lovely time today reading the articles and looking at your Astara magazine, which I thought was beautifully put together. Nicely done to everybody who contributed to that. I was really interested in your Dorjies, which were surprisingly inexpensive, and your metal, your drums, not your drums, your bowls, your singing bowls.
The bowls, right? Yeah.
So I just want to hear you talk about them for a minute.
Okay, so the Dorjes are a way to like channel more spiritual energy or inner light, the white light, into the body, into the system, or direct it into an area or into a project or into a group of people. Like when I do group healings on the prayer petitions, I use a very old Dorje that, has been in a monastery for a very long time.
I don't want to interrupt. I don't want to interrupt, but here was my question. I've seen you use them. I understand, but they were so inexpensive. I'm thinking,
those are
like something that is old and filled with the energy from,
those are brand new ones. So those aren't necessarily old ones. If you want old ones, you can let me know. And they do get a little bit expensive.
Right. Yeah. So I'm guessing that because they're not filled with the energy from other healers, other practitioners, spiritual beings, they would not have the same impact that
they would have an impact, but generations of high lamas using it versus just a brand new one. I mean, it's different, but it's still strong. Yeah. Okay. Still stronger than you doing something on your own. And so, sometimes I have them, there might be 30, 40, 50 years old. I have some, the one I use is about 400 years old. You know, I have some purbas actually that are not badly priced that are about 300 years old.
Thank you. And now, and your singing bowls, you want to talk about singing bowls?
Yeah, so the singing bowls, some of those are somewhat antique. You know, I say somewhat, like some of them range up to about 100 years old, 100, 120 years old. And a majority of them are full moon bowls, which means that for 5 or 6 full moons, they only made the bowl on the full moon while people in the monastery were chanting Om Mani Padme Hum as the bowl was being made. And so I'm real picky about the bowls that we get. And, you know, there are ways of, you could say cleansing, but it's actually a little bit different than just normal cleansing. Like if you were to say sweep an area with energy, because it is kind of changing the frequency of the person for a little bit. And so the bells and bowls definitely help to release things, helps to integrate things. And, you know, it's a transmitter unto itself. And so even putting the essential oils, for example, or a plant or a crystal in the bowl, it actually raises the vibration of the plant or the bowl, and you know, increases its potency. And so some of the things that we do with like really special oil blends and things like that is they are put in a bowl for a little while for consecration purposes. So, you know, the bowls aren't too old. They're about 100, at the very most 150 years old. So they're actually very reasonably priced. I do come across really old bowls, but yeah, not often.
You are a man of mystery, Greg. Just
Yeah.
you're a man of mystery. And
No,
you
but
let these little nuggets just kind of slip out every once in a
yeah.
while. And it's just like, we just got a fraction of what you let slip out. So
Yeah. I know interesting people. I don't know that I'm interesting, but I know interesting people.
I'm pretty sure
One of my purbas is almost 1,000 years old. It came out of a temple, and it's made out of a meteorite.
Oh, cool.
And given the age and the material, only a very, very high lama would be bestowed that back in the day. Back in the day, they didn't carve faces and faces and shapes into the hilt of the purba. And given the material that it was carved in, each of the faces, if you look at a purba, it's got like 3 faces on the top. They're usually all the same. Each face is different. And so it belonged to somebody special, but we don't know who it belonged to. Yeah, this tanker right here, you see this one? That one belonged to one of the Dalai Lamas back in the 1800s.
Wow.
Yeah. We think it was the early 1800s. We don't know for sure, but given the outline, the brocade, it was of the Dalai Lama. Yeah. Sometimes the stories go away. You know, a lot of times these things end up in being held by a family, you know, that has left Tibet or something, and so they end up in Nepal, and there's generations of a story that go along with it, but sometimes the stories go away. So it's really sad. All the temples majority of the temples in Tibet had been destroyed, except for a few, and now even those are being destroyed. So
Thank you.
yeah, you're so welcome.
Thanks, Peggy. 70th anniversary.
Yeah, so 70th anniversary, going with what Susan said. We are was it the 16th or the 17th, whatever that Saturday is.
Yeah.
Let me look it up real quick.
I was a good segue, huh, Greg?
You were a very good segue.
It's like you planted this.
So on October 16th, we are going to do a free class for Astara with the Dorjes, the Purbas, the bells, the bowls, the axe, Kartika. Yeah, it's called a Kartika, but it's basically an axe for cutting cords and disintegrating patterns, and just whatever else kind of comes up in that fun arena. So we'll be doing it via Zoom, probably 9 to 5 Pacific time on the 16th of October. The 17th is the anniversary for Astara, so we'll be doing other things throughout the day that day. Saturday will be the free class.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Go ahead, Linda. Your hand's raised.
Hi, Greg. I just wanted to touch base with you. You worked with me 2 weeks ago about the GI stuff.
Oh, yeah. I remember. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I've been working with the ANS and the hyssop and the marjoram.
Right.
And I've been working a lot with the weekend you did on stress 2 weekends ago. I've been
Good.
just playing and replaying, especially Sunday, day 2.
Right.
Been really deep for me. And I'm more stable. Like I don't have watery stools anymore, but I have very loose stools, and I'm still losing weight, but I'm getting my energy back. I'm about 70%. And I was wondering if I should still be using the St. John's wort. I'm sorry. No. The worm, you had recommended wormwood.
Wormwood.
Sorry.
Yeah, I would keep you on wormwood for just a little bit longer until that stool firms up. So how much are you urinating?
A lot, but I've been urinating a lot for a while, and I'm hydrating a lot, like
Okay.
8.
And then how much are you drinking?
I'm drinking 6 to 8 8-ounce glasses of fluids a day. Is that enough, or should I up it? Or
I think that's enough. I'm just trying to get a gauge of how much you're losing versus how much you're taking in.
Well, I don't have much. I'm not having much of an appetite. I mean, I'm eating, but there's yeah. Because sometimes after I eat, I feel a little uncomfortable, and then it settles out. Yeah.
Like you feel like tired, you feel inflamed, you feel
I feel
nauseous.
a little tired after eating, sometimes a little nauseous, and I'm eating very, very, very bland, very low FODMAP. And I haven't gotten my test results back yet through my functional medicine doctor.
Okay. Let's send her like a little small sample of Shazandra. Make a note of that. We're going to send you a little sample of something. I'm going to have you take it for just a couple of days and see what happens with this. And so it should help your body utilize water and the fluids that you're taking in a little bit better than it is. That you're urinating a lot, you're only taking in that amount of water, and you're also having diarrhea.
Can I also mention?
It wouldn't change what we're already doing, but it would augment that. But yes, please go ahead.
Well, I'm going through a huge change in my life. So there's major, I'm going through a portal. I'm about to move into a beautiful home that I've remodeled. That's like my dream home of my life.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of old programming coming up that wants to shut me down and stop me and make me ill. And so I'm also working through that with my spiritual coach.
Was there also just a lot of stress and doing all that?
Oh, yeah, it's like been endless for 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, this could be all a lot of stress too,
Yeah,
which is still impacted by what you're talking about, like that you're working with your coach, like
Yeah.
change,
Because
shifting, displacement, breaking a pattern, all that stuff causes stress. So
yeah. And I was doing really well with the remodeling, the changes, the move across country up until this hit like 3.5, 4 weeks ago. And then I just went down. So.
okay, where are you moving to?
Well, I drove from Los Angeles to Asheville, North Carolina, and I bought a house.
Oh, beautiful.
there.
Yeah, beautiful.
I have a house that sits on a mountain, Greg.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been there. I actually taught there for a little tiny bit in Nashville.
Well, come back.
Yeah.
Come back.
It's a beautiful, beautiful place. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll get something to you with instructions.
Thank you so much. I really, really feel supported by you and the oils.
No, my pleasure. Yeah, and unfortunately, that kind of condition is more common than we think. We don't really hear about it too much, but it's actually very, very common.
What's very common?
Just like the diarrhea and the fatigue and poor sleep. But I think I told you last time, I've treated people that have had diarrhea 12, 14, 15 years. And they've been going to doctors and everything, but it's just people have it more than we realize.
It's not a popular
No,
sickness,
it's not something you go
to talk
chatting
about.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. And then on the flip side, it was funny because it was funny just because of that. Well, there used to be a group of people that I treated, and they flipped it to where like they kept a diary about it. Like we'd, when we'd get to it, they'd go to their diary and we'd talk about what had happened the last 5, 6, 7 days. And so they went from not talking about it to talking about it all the time.
I mean, there's more to life than what comes out of you in the morning.
Yeah. I used to joke and call it our poop circle. Like, okay, let's get together for our poop circle. And we'd all talk about what they were doing.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome.
I don't know who raised their hand first, but go ahead, Tracy.
Hey, Miss Tracy.
Hey, so I have a question.
Wow, you kind of didn't seem like you were there for a minute.
I know I've got some. I probably have fear consciousness coming up because Alabama, especially Birmingham, is like a hotbed for the Delta variant.
Yeah.
And this body had COVID, I think, twice, and I've been tossing around whether or not I should get a vaccine, and with the autoimmune stuff that I have going on, I get worried to have it because I'm afraid it's going to kick me into another autoimmune episode, and then I was wondering what your thoughts were on the vaccine, and you've known me forever. So
yeah, well, the issue that I would say is, I don't try to talk anybody into it or out of it. Like the idea, obviously, is to get herd immunity up in particular areas, and the issue sometimes with vaccines is there can be reactions. It doesn't mean there will be reactions, but there can be reactions. And so when you do have particular kinds of health issues, like an autoimmune thing or other kinds of health issues, then it starts to be a little bit more like it's not as clear of a picture to do it. You know what I mean? But looking at the variants and everything, I mean, you do have a couple times where you've had it, so that means that even if you got it again, it probably wouldn't be as bad. That's still a guess, but it that's what it probably means. this new Delta variant, it's a little bit more serious. I mean, the other one was serious as well, but this is a little bit more serious. And so,
Okay.
yeah, with your autoimmune things, I would do things to, like, if you wanted to do it, I would do things to calm down the autoimmune response before you went and did it. So for you, that could be as simple as taking some Moroccan time for a few days to a week.
Okay.
Just to calm down the autoimmune response, and then, move forward.
Okay. Thank you very much.
That's, I've been watching Alabama just because, so many of you guys are there, and it is a hotbed.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, and now they're saying you can't do this. They're thinking that you're not going to be able to do some things if you don't have a vaccine and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
and you get
It's really this is what I would say about all of it. It's all unknown waters. Like, it's so crazy and so not like anything else that has been dealt with, around this time. It's really hard to say, like for me, like we were trying to get Imaho to start doing a couple of events. And then when the Delta stuff started coming up, he was like, I think I'm going to wait a little bit. And even I was supposed to go see him here pretty shortly. And, I called him up and said, I'm not coming just because I don't want to expose you. Like, I'm traveling all the time. And if he got sick from me being there, it would just, So, you'd be a little bit more careful. And, he had brain surgery just a couple of years ago, so he's super susceptible to something. So, not going to take risks like with stuff like that. So, do what you can. Like, I know that even the vax itself is a hotbed, but I'm not one to really pick sides. I just kind of try to play, my best hand whenever things like this comes up.
Gotcha. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It just helps to talk to somebody.
Flu shots I was never a big fan of. But the thing with COVID, it's much more serious. So I threw my opinion out the window.
Yeah, and I have a husband that thinks he knows everything. So it's he's telling me one thing and I'm hearing other, you just don't, there's so many different viewpoints.
There's a lot of half truths out there right now. That's why I'm not jumping on the fence of anything.
Right.
I mean, science is science, but there's also can be potential side effects and things. But,
well, I appreciate your viewpoint.
Yeah, I mean, I almost would say it's not my area of expertise. And so, like, that's why I don't really jump on one side or the other. Is like, I don't know enough to know about vaccines to know how to try to keep a person healthy with herbs and oils and healing and stuff. But as far as vaccines are concerned,
well, and I'm using all the things that you told us before. So, it's probably a lot of collective consciousness. I can feel the fear.
It's mixed in with politics, mixed in with a lot of things. And so it's like, I used to work with, a long time ago, I worked on people who had babies who had reactions to vaccines. And most of that was a severe allergic reaction, like severe.
Oh, like allergic to something in the vaccine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
So, like, you do the things to prepare for that kind of response, where, you take a lot of quercetin, you can bump up the cordyceps a little bit, take a little bit of magnesium, probably go off, like, if you're really concerned about that, corn, nuts, and soy for just a few days
Okay,
after the shot. But
thank
Yeah.
you.
yeah, sorry, I don't have like really good advice. As far as vaccines are concerned, I'm kind of not very bright. You know, I don't know the science. I don't know the science like people should to give advice.
It was an unemotional response, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Ron's is more emotional.
Yeah. You know, because like for me, like one of the potential side effects is heart inflammation. And so like people with cardiovascular issues, it's really a toss up, you know, which one's worse, the heart inflammation or the vaccine itself. So I mean, it's one of those things where I think it's a very personal thing to say, and somebody can't really say for one person or another. I mean, scientists can give their opinions, but other than that, you know, I'm just a layperson. I don't know. You'd have to look at medical history and you know, all kinds of things to really make a good solid choice.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, having an autoimmune issue is pretty solid. You know, one of the things that you can do is you can talk it over with your pharmacist before you do it. You know, not even your doctor, just go to your pharmacist, say, hey, I have autoimmune issues. Sometimes I take things, I have weird responses. What do you think? And let them just give you some advice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Education is always a good thing. You know what I mean? So if you're not sure, just start asking a bunch of questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead, Kathy.
Yeah,
Hey, Kathy.
hi. Two things. First of all, I'm not vaccinated and I was exposed about 4 days ago. I had a mask and everything because I do take a lot of precautions not being vaccinated. So I just wanted to kind of make sure I'm doing all the immune things that you would recommend. I take Monarda almost
Good.
daily, 2 drops and, you know, whatever I can mask it with. And I've been taking black cumin, 2 drops in water.
Yeah, you're pretty solid. You know, if you happen to have the immune support, inhale it. If you don't, inhale the Monarda a little bit. And then just something to open up the lungs a little bit. You know,
Well, I
so
did the
anything.
immunity kit, so I have the
Yeah,
respiratory
perfect.
support and
Yeah.
the immune support
Yeah.
oils.
And you know, one that's a little bit of a sleeper that we wouldn't think of is for like maybe once a week, take a parsley salt bath. You know,
Okay.
just about a pound of salt and the parsley, and it helps to detoxify the skin and strengthen your immunity.
Okay, so pound of salt about once a week because I've taken parsley baths before as part of the immune.
Right. Yeah, just add a little bit of salt.
Now I get differing information. I asked this before, but there's a difference between kosher salt and Epsom salt.
Yeah, Epsom salt, either for this application.
Yeah,
either
for
one
this
works.
particularly, I guess.
Yeah. But Epsom salt is more for the physical body, more for like muscles and strains and pains and things like that. The regular salt is a little bit more of an etheric cleanser.
Mhm.
And so it's just a way to kind of keep energy moving.
So for the parsley bath and the immune support.
Either one. Yeah,
Either
either
one
one
doesn't
works.
matter.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and of course I take quercetin and I take all the vitamin D and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
you're doing all the right things. Yeah.
Okay. Second thing, and I brought this up before, but I get headaches every single night within 2 or 3 hours of going to bed. So whether I go to bed at 11 or 10, you've told me once to put marjoram on my neck. I have the spasmophilia. I've tried that a couple times. Either I didn't do it long enough, but it didn't help. A few times I did it. And I take a lot of aspirin,
Okay.
you know, which isn't good for my stomach.
Like how much is a lot of aspirin?
Well, usually what I've been doing lately is I get up when I get the headache. When I wake up, I take 2 Anacin. And I used to take a lot of Excedrin, but because of the acetaminophen, I've been trying to stay away from that. So I'll take 2 Anacin because there's a little caffeine in it. Then I take CBD oil with THC because that'll put me to sleep, you know, since I have some caffeine. And but nightly. And then sometimes the Anacin won't quite work, so I'll take 1 or 2 Excedrin on top of the Anacin later, you know.
Okay. And what part of your head are you getting the headache in?
It's kind of overall, because yeah, you've asked me that before, and it's not on the right or left. It's just kind of this dull, achy. And then in the morning, if I still have one, I'll get up, I'll have coffee with oat milk and stevia, organic stevia. And sitting upright sometimes I think might make a difference, because usually, now today I didn't, I had to take an Excedrin. But a lot of times that will do the final piece that will get rid of it.
And so as soon as you lay down, a couple hours it hits.
Within 2 to 3 hours maximum. So that doesn't matter if it's 11 or 10. Usually I'll wake up to go to the bathroom a couple hours later, and I'll kind of notice the headache coming on. And so I take something trying to nip it in the bud, but it's nightly. Sometimes I don't know if it's liver and I need a liver detox.
Yeah, with it happening 2 hours or so into your sleep, it makes me think there's something going on with, like when you lay down, something goes out of alignment in your spine.
Okay.
Let's have you do this. You know, we had you rub the marjoram on your shoulders, but like from
Well,
the
no,
base of
not
your
shoulders. It was neck. So maybe I should do shoulders, because I was just doing that. Yeah.
do it like right where the shoulder and neck kind of come together, like that area. But let's have you rub it directly on your spine from the base of your skull, like directly on the vertebrae, all the way down as far as you can go, you know, between the shoulder blades.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you can reach the low back too, that's great. But I suspect that the issue is like your lower neck.
Okay. So just margarine.
Yeah, it looks like to me like maybe C7 or C8. Like when you lay down, like pops out to the side.
Okay.
And then when you get up, it
Because I'm a
goes
side
into
sleeper.
place.
I don't
Yeah.
sleep on stomach or back. I have to sleep on the side, and I try to switch them. You know, when I wake up,
Yeah.
I go on the other side. But
Yeah, I think it's that C7, C8. So, you know, you could even do it a couple of times. Like, you know, when you get up again in the middle of the night, you could actually apply more marjoram to that spot. And let's just see if we can't relax that a little bit.
okay. And then one other thing, I have the ANS, and then I thought, does that mean autonomic nervous system? Is that what it
Yeah.
stands for?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it made sense once I thought, ha. So
Yeah.
how do I use that? Because I feel
Couple
like
drops of into water and drink it.
2 drops.
Yeah, 2 to 3 drops and like water or juice or, you know, whatever you need to get it down, and then drink it. Yeah.
So in addition to sometimes I do Palmarosa, I definitely have been doing black cumin, and I definitely do Monarda. So a few minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah, like do a few in the morning and then a few at night. Like ANS would be good at night.
Oh, at night, okay. And the other 2 just in the morning, a little time.
Yeah, sure.
apart. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Keep us posted though.
Yep. Those headaches are really getting to.
Yeah, they can be a bear.
Oh,
Yeah, trust me. There's like almost 30 different kinds of headaches. Yeah. It can be a bear. I think yours, especially being a side sleeper, and it looks like it's C7, C8, that you have it no matter what time you go to bed.
Well, I don't have it when I go to bed, but I will wake
No,
up
but
every
2
night.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like something's going out of alignment. You know, like we see this chiropractor here locally, and he's one of those guys that uses the activator. And you know, standing, sitting, laying down, different positions, your spine shifts around, and so he does adjustments according to the different body positions you'd be in. You know, he's always kind of checking leg length discrepancies, and you know, even just moving the shoulder will shift the spine around, and then you move the other shoulder and it shifts the spine around. You rotate the arms, it does something to the spine. And so, you know, I suspect that something's happening in your sleep. And so if you put the marjoram on, marjoram's really good for helping to correct subluxations. You know, like when you put it directly on a spot, it's really good about helping the bone like kind of unloosen and pop and go into the proper position. And so that would be the first step that I would do.
Okay.
Is that.
It kind of makes sense because I find it's puzzling that when I do get up and
Yeah.
I look right,
It's too,
it's
I mean,
different.
you've boiled it down to like, no matter when you go to bed, 2 hours into sleep, you have a headache. There's something happening while you're sleeping. There's like some posture, some shift in your spinal cord that's probably causing it.
Well, to solve this would be huge.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, you're so welcome.
Did you ever come up, Greg, with a protocol for restless leg syndrome? They had asked last week or a couple
No,
weeks
I
ago.
haven't had a chance, sorry.
Still a good one.
It's on my list to do. It's just I have a really big list.
Is it okay to use oils during chemotherapy for ovarian cancer?
It's okay, but I wouldn't go too heavy on things. You know, you want to let the chemo do what it's going to do. I mean, you're already in the middle of it, and then after the fact, go through and detoxify the body from the chemo. The number one thing that I use for that is Greenland moss. Now, when you're going through chemo, the thing that I'd like to focus on is keeping the nerves. The nervous system gets highly impacted by the chemo, so sometimes I'll do some treatment for that. And then the other thing is the appetite. You know, trying to keep the appetite, keep down the nausea. Things that are good for reducing nausea. Usually I start with ginger. Cardamom can be good. Peppermint can be good, but I usually start with ginger.
Is it okay to take Moroccan thyme internal?
Yes, it's actually best to take Moroccan thyme internal.
What can you use for immune other than thyme? I have a reaction to it.
To strengthen immunity, you can use lots of things. You know, thyme, oregano, those are things that are a little bit more on the hot side. Cinnamon, cassia, again, also on the hot side. But you can use things like Monarda to help improve defense against viruses. Bay laurel is very strengthening for things that have to do with bacteria and things like that. Even something like tea tree or lavender can be helpful. Eucalyptus can be helpful. Parsley baths, really good way to increase and improve immunity. Almost all essential oils have antiviral, antibacterial property to them. It's just some much more than others. And so kind of any oil that you're using would enhance it, but you know, you really want to target things specifically. Rosemary can be helpful. Let's see, we said tea tree, neoli, which is in the tea tree family, could be very helpful. Camphor actually is another one that's a little bit of a sleeper and nobody thinks of, but it can be helpful for immunity. Now, you wouldn't take camphor internally. You know, you just put it on the skin or inhale it, but it still could work very, very well.
Go ahead, Shannon.
Hey, Greg.
Hey.
I have been using rosemary in the morning.
Mhm.
This past week, I've been waking up feeling super groggy from some very vivid dreams. Just feeling really exhausted from just the dreams, like mental exhaustion, and just the grogginess is felt physically. Do you have any thoughts on like using a particular oil before I go to bed, or using an oil in the morning?
That you're groggy from
the dreams.
Yeah. Maybe some cinnamon in the morning. I don't know about taking anything at night, but cinnamon in the morning will probably do it.
Okay, I do put some cinnamon in my coffee. I just,
Yeah, probably inhale it like 15, 20 inhalations.
okay.
Yeah, still do the cinnamon in coffee. Give me just a second. Let me just take a little bathroom break. real quick. Okay. Sorry about that.
Okay, so a nurse who does ICU, Leslie, she did want to mention that when you lay down, it raises blood pressure, and when you sit up, the blood pressure does go down as well. So the blood
Oh,
pressure
interesting.
could be something to look at as well.
Thank you, Leslie.
Go ahead, Vitri.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Hi, Greg. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you. So, I don't know whether you remember when I last saw you in North Andover. I mentioned that Paul's daughter seems like she was going downhill again.
Yeah.
Well, she did, and so now she's in the hospital, but she doesn't quite understand why she's there. She pretty much is in denial that she needs help. So I'm not sure, obviously in the hospital, you can't really suggest anything with essential oils, but I'm thinking
No.
maybe when she comes back home,
How long has she been in the hospital?
a week.
And she's on medications in there? Or
From
they
what
just
I-
have her,
Yeah.
they just have her in there.
From what I understand, she refuses to take medication. And I think that was part of the problem, that she went
Yeah.
downhill because she wasn't
Yeah.
taking her meds.
Yeah, I think I can pull together I don't know that she's gonna do it, but like I can pull together like a bit of a protocol. The success rate would be dependent on how much she participates.
Yeah.
And it might be that we just have to diffuse things around her for a little while.
Okay.
So let me send you some stuff to do when she gets out.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you, Greg.
And I'm so
Really
sorry to hear
appreciate
that. Tell Paul like I'm so sorry to hear that.
I will. Yeah, it was
That's
pretty
gotta be pretty frustrating.
rough. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty rough. She was walking in the middle of the street just with her underwear pretty much.
Yeah.
It came to that point.
Okay.
So any suggestion would be greatly
Yeah.
appreciated.
Let me kind of come up with some things personalized to that situation.
All right. Thank you so much, Greg.
You're so.
An acupuncturist recommended myrrh for my hip pain. Do you recommend internal or topical application?
For that, you could actually do both. You could rub some myrrh on that. Myrrh taken internally is a bit calming, and it does hit the opioid receptors. And so it's not like taking a pain pill, but it does dull the pain a little bit. One of the things that you could augment that with is also galbanum, which is in the frankincense family. And galbanum definitely helps take the edge off of the pain. You know, it'll take it from like maybe an 8 down to like a 3 or a 4. Doesn't make it completely go away, but it's quite substantial. And so, yeah, that could also be helpful. And if it's hip pain due to degeneration, you could also augment with black cumin. Black cumin would be anti-inflammatory. And so again, it would be a couple drops internally. And then if it's also degenerative, you know, like your disc is thinning, or you want to keep circulation up in that hip socket. So things like rosemary, cedar, pine, they all can be helpful to that joint. The rosemary increases circulation. The cedar helps keep moving blood out of the area to keep it from pooling. And the pine can as well, but pine also can raise cortisone levels in the body and help reduce inflammation and reduce pain in the area as well. So the combination of those three can be very, very helpful. You know, we make a blend joint relief that is based on that concept. But even if you just blended those three together in even amounts, you can make your own. Yeah.
Go ahead, Cindy.
Hey, Cindy.
Hi. Sorry, we're gonna miss you.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I've had to cancel the last couple of places I'm going. The body's getting better, but it's still, boy, still needs good naps during the day and just is not traveling well.
Well, you pushed it hard.
Yeah, that, and I think I'm getting old. That's my joke. My schedule was pretty intense for quite a while. I think I just got broken there.
I couldn't keep up with your classes, and I wasn't even traveling. So.
Right.
I don't know how you did. I'm not exactly sure how to formulate this question.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you do you have something that you recommend supporting a spouse of someone who's declining when that spouse is also not very healthy either? So
like supporting them emotionally or like what's happening?
More like so if one passes, the other one doesn't get really totally lost.
How long have they been together?
See, I was 14. Almost 50 years.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
And there's a lot of extraneous outside things going on too, but
you know, your best way is like you're wanting them to like kind of step out of the habits of the past and embrace something new that's happening. And at first it's going to be hard because they're going to be missing their spouse. But over a period of time, it's you know, the ability to do things that they, you know, didn't do before or couldn't do before, or have interactions, you know, be it socially or whatever. You're trying to get them to step out of the box. And so when you look at that, things like mugwort, artemisia, poplar balsam, all of these can be very, very helpful. Sometimes it's not always the greatest one to choose, but patchouli can actually be helpful, just because patchouli is about breaking down internal like barriers and walls. And so the issue is they get so rigid in the things that they were doing that it's hard for them to step away from that. You know, I like the idea of the poplar balsam, just because there's also going to be a, you know, significant amount of grief, and that would help them process the grief.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much that she's going to be able to process that, because she's got some dementia as well, and she's ornery and stubborn, and you know, it's
Well,
not like she would.
Yeah, the thing with dementia is you can redirect them somewhat as long as they're not too combative. So that puts a different slant on things.
Yeah, it does.
One of the ones I like to use with dementia is jasmine. Like jasmine just makes everything kind of a little bit softer, makes them a little bit more compliant. It makes it easier for them to be redirected. Everything becomes a little bit more playful rather than aggressive. And so yeah, adjustment can be a good go-to thing.
Okay, I'll
Yeah, the dementia changes that dementia quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll try those things. Thank you.
Is that something that's happening right now or is about to happen?
I don't know. My stepfather's going to be 98 next week on Monday, and yeah, and he kind of has he kind of lost it pretty quickly, fairly recently. And I'm the only one who thinks I don't know. I'm the only one that thinks that they should have more care, and think he's not going to be around long. And they're like, no, he's going to be to 100. And anyway, the point is, I don't really know. My gut tells me it's going to be before the end of the year, if not before. So
yeah, I'd be prepared. Yeah, I'd be prepared.
Yeah, I mean,
just the age, I'd be prepared. Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, thanks.
Keep us posted. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Like when it happens, we can maybe fine tune what's going on, things to do.
Yeah. If you ever open up time where I could actually talk to you about the other things going on with it, I would really appreciate it. Okay. Thanks. All right.
Yeah, you're still
take care.
Go ahead, Leslie. You can unmute.
Hi, good evening.
Hey,
Greg, I know you were talking about rosemary being good for circulation. I have a family member who is suffering from diabetes, and they constantly complain about their foot hurting, itching, to the point where when they constantly itch it, the skin is peeling. So she has been soaking her feet in Epsom salt, but I guess the pain and the itchy feeling won't go away. Is that a circulation issue?
It can be a circulation issue. It also could be neuropathy. And so that would go hand in hand with diabetes. And so one of the things that you want to take into account is with diabetes is there's not always great circulation, like you're seeing with return flow from the legs. And there can be a pooling of fluids and lymphatic materials down in the legs. And so when this happens, it tends to overstimulate the sensory nerves and makes them fire at 5 to 10 times maybe the rate. And so it's circulation, but not so much about needing to increase circulation. Is I would increase lymphatic circulation, which means blood moving out of the area. So you could do this a couple of different ways. You know, you could use oils that are very good for increasing and improving circulation in the legs, lymphatic circulation, things like cedar and rosemary actually wouldn't be bad.
Okay.
Red pine, yeah. That, and then you could also use either tarragon or vetiver to calm down the sensory nerve.
Okay.
The other thing that I'd probably have her do is like lay on her back and have her legs up on the wall or a bed or something at a 45-degree angle, just to drain some of that out. Her blood sugar is kind of normal and all that. Like she's on her medication and all that's all going okay. Okay.
Yes.
And so you know, kidney function is always a thing to keep into account. And so is she drinking enough fluid and things like that?
She says she is, but I mean, I could.
Okay. Hard to tell. Yeah. Start with these things. Like start simple and just see how. Like sometimes you know when we go through and retreat something, you start treating it, and over a period of a few weeks, you know, with applying different things, you get a piece of information, and then you know this happens and that happens, or this works and that doesn't work. We can go through and refine what it is that is happening. But usually with any sort of neuropathy or potential for neuropathy or inflammation in the legs, we start with lymphatic work to reduce the fluid retention in the legs and then calm down the sensory nerves. And then I usually like to use a diuretic of some sort. I usually start with sandalwood. You could use other things like lovage or parsley, juniper, but I find that sandalwood actually is probably, when there's been blockages in the venous flow and the lymphatic circulation and just blockages in the pelvis as far as releasing urination and things like that, sandalwood tends to work the best. And the byproduct is she'll start peeing more. And even if she's not drinking enough fluid, she'll still start peeing more. And that will usually reduce some of the tension in the legs.
Okay. And the sandalwood, we would just boil it like a tea? Or
if you get the herb, I've always used it with oils, but like if you use the herb, probably a spoonful of the powdered herb to like a pint of water, and then have her drink it like that.
Okay.
I mean,
if it's the oil,
I'm just guessing off the top of my head, by the way.
Yeah. If it's the oil, then mix it with water, or?
Yeah, 2 drops in water.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Keep us posted though.
Sure.
Well, for Kathy, would diffusing marjoram when she sleeps help with the headaches in addition to the application?
It might, but I think it really needs to be applied topically to the spine itself.
Would any other oil be good for diffusing, do you think?
I mean, chakra root cleanser would be my kind of go-to thing for something like that, just to see how that treats you for the first few days. It's a lymphatic stimulant. It's good for clearing out just stress and old unconscious, emotions and things. It's a very deep etheric cleanser, and so it's a good place to start. I used to do that a long time ago, is sleep with a diffuser with chakra root cleanser. I've stopped doing it. It's been probably a decade since I've done it, but yeah, that could be very helpful.
I'm still having tension in my chest and difficulty breathing. I've been doing the bellows breathing and oil recommendations you did, said. Any other recommendations?
What's this one?
He said any other oils.
Is it getting any better? Has it changed at all?
It's improving. How much? But
Yeah.
they said any other oils in addition to poplar balsam, the mugwort, artemisia, and oh, this is for a different one. So there's the chest one. And there's
The only thing I could think of the throwing it in different would be large.
and I think we have that. Have you gotten that one yet? I think we
Yeah.
probably shipped
Yeah.
it
Do
to
you
you.
do you have large yet?
It's ordered. It's probably been sent like the next day or here. So if it wasn't sent last week for you, so
Yeah. When you get the large, try the large. Keep doing the things you're doing, but when you get the large, rotate large in.
when you were talking about the poplar balsam, mugwort, artemisia, or patchouli, my partner is resisting change and is kind of stubborn and self-sabotaging. I know they don't like mugwort. Trying to get her used to patchouli and any others you'd recommend.
Poplar balsam is a good shot. I mean, poplar balsam is like kind of the cream of the crop there. Palo Santo, maybe. Yeah.
Ken, for Kathy, would the oils for pain also potentially help for trigeminal neuralgia, the myrrh, the galbanum, like you were telling the other person?
Yeah, it could be helpful. I mean, that's usually something that I use on any like pain syndrome.
Because she's been using the golden rod mixed with the glycerin and
On the
inhaling the
nose.
marjoram, but it always looks, she's always looking for more.
Yeah, definitely you could step it up with, I mean, that one's a tough one. You probably don't need the black cumin, but the galbanum could be. And she signed up for this following weekend?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's in galbanum is going to be in this weekend's kit. So if you are signed up for this weekend, you don't need to buy it again. You will have it here shortly.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
The CRC and the diffuser was potentially to help like sleeping.
Yeah,
and
sleeping, help deeper lymphatic movement, things like that.
can you take poplar balsam internally?
Yeah, just say a drop or two at a time.
Yeah, go ahead, Kathy.
You mentioned the galbanum instead of the black cumin, because I've been taking black cumin for inflammation and immunity. So would I substitute that?
For immunity, yeah, definitely I would leave it. But I was just focusing on the trigeminal neuralgia.
Right.
You can just add galbanum.
Okay, and a couple drops in water, just.
Yeah, actually, galbanum is one of those things you don't even have to take it internally. Just put like 2 or 3 drops on your wrist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's an odd smell. Just to give you a head up, it's not bad, but it's like a weird frankincense. Like it's got a like odd smell. You'll get used to it after a little bit, but at first you might go, better to take it internal. But after a while, you get used to it and you like it. But
Oh, really? You promise?
yeah.
You know,
Don't
Monarda,
promise,
I haven't.
but yeah, I don't promise, but
No, because Monarda, I've had 2 bottles of it and I still don't.
yeah, Monarda has got a taste. Yeah, it's strong.
Okay. Sorry, I just want to. When you say that, I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Greg always would introduce galbanum as frankincense's weird cousin.
Yeah, frankincense is weird cousin.
And you know, like think about like I always thought of Frankenstein, and I was like, Frankenstein has a weird cousin. That's galbanum. So I like it, but I'm weird. So. All right, how is the jasmine used for redirecting someone with dementia? Inhalation in a diffuser?
Yeah, either in a diffuser or put it on their wrist.
And what are good oils and patterns for ADD?
Yeah, that's a complicated question. So like we'll probably do like a little one-day thing on ADD at some point. There's not really like a easy answer for that.
All right, I think we're ready for the next one.
Okay, so let's jump into a protocol. Okay, so this is kind of the tail end of that lymphatic and advanced stress treatment. And this is starting to help to change your response to stress. And so here, this first piece, we have emotional release. And we're going to need some substitutes. So give me a minute and I'll come up with your substitutes here. So these would be A choices: larch, rose, poplar balsam, tuberose, Caro, K-A-R-O, St. John's wort, helichrysum, basil, and that's any basil.
What was after Caro?
St. John's wort. And also saffron. So just right there, how are we with everybody? Are we needing other substitutes?
Type in if you need a substitute. One person asked marjoram, another asked from the Vital Centers class, anything? So no for those. Let me know if you need a substitute. You can list your other oils as needed. If you've emailed me your list of oils, you can let me know that and I can look it up. We are, it wasn't in the manual yet.
Yeah, it wasn't in the manual.
So it was like the last part that Greg didn't get to. And since we didn't do the manual till after the class was done, we'll still get this over to you guys. And go ahead and get started and I'll see about.
Okay. So no need to think about anything or visualize anything. We'll just start this process and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so begin inhaling. Your awareness is on the heart, the center of your chest. Just use that. Keep inhaling. Your awareness is on the front heart. Move your awareness to the back heart. Your awareness is on the back heart. Taking long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is on the crown, the top of your head. Move your awareness to the solar plexus below your ribs on your upper abdomen. Your back solar plexus, the middle of your back. Your throat. The back of your throat, the middle of the back of your neck. the back head, opposite your eyebrows on the back side. The area between your eyebrows, the ajna. The bottom of your tailbone, the basic chakra. The soles of your feet. Just be still, be aware. Notice how you feel, your body, your emotions, your mind. We're going to do the same application again. Same oil, same everything. Begin inhaling. Your awareness is on your heart. Your awareness is on your back heart, the area between your shoulder blades. Move your awareness to the crown. Move your awareness to the solar plexus, the area below your ribs on your upper abdomen. Move your awareness to the back solar plexus, the middle of your back. Move your awareness to your throat. Move your awareness to your back throat, the middle of the back of your neck. To your back head, opposite your eyebrows. The area between your eyebrows, the ajna. Your awareness is between the eyebrows. The bottom of the tailbone, the basic chakra. The soles of your feet. Just be still, be aware, and let go. Begin inhaling again, this time on your forehead. Go to the bottom of your tailbone. Your hips. Your knees, the front and back knees. The ankles. The soles of your feet. The armpits. Long, slow, deep breath with your awareness on the armpits. Your awareness is on the elbows. Long, slow, deep breath with your awareness on the elbows. your wrists. The palms of your hands. The front heart, the center of your chest. And your back heart, the middle of your upper back, the area between your shoulder blades. Just be still, be aware, keep your eyes closed, just let go. Maintain your stillness and awareness. Begin inhaling again. Same application, same oil. Your awareness is on your forehead. Move your awareness to the bottom of your tailbone, the basic chakra. your hips, your knees, front and back knees, your ankles, your awareness is on your ankles, the soles of your feet. Your armpits, you're still on your armpits, taking long, slow, deep breaths. Move to the elbows. Your wrists, the palms of your hands, your awareness is on the palms of your hands, Move your awareness to the front heart. Move your awareness to the back heart. Your awareness is on the back heart. Just be still, be aware, and let go. Pay attention to your body, your emotions, your mind, your thoughts. Okay, let's see how you feel. Now, there's 2 more applications. We're obviously not going to get them in by the end of the night, but we'll do them over the next week or so. Next Tuesday night, we should be able to fit the other 2 in. But let's just see how you feel with what we've done.
Hi, Greg. It's Leslie.
Hey, Leslie.
I wanted to let you know that I was the person during the lymphatic class that said that I have lymphedema. And I wanted to let you know that what we did, it jumpstart something for me, and it changed a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot of pain that I was having in the body, and there was pockets of fluid and stuff that was being built up around the knees. A lot of fluid is gone behind the knee. The legs within 1 day started to come down. I noticed within it lasted for about 3 days without taking anything internally. So I know it's something I have to keep repeating. At the same time, whatever else I added to it, it complemented and it allowed it to work better. I had a hard time for about 2 years drinking fluid. And I wouldn't drink fluid for anything. It allowed me also to start taking in more fluid.
Yeah, see, it's a very interesting thing. And it took me a lot of years to really understand that. But like a lot of times what happens is we'll take in fluid, and instead of processing it properly, your body just keeps kicking it off into the tissue. And so there's blockages in like the lymphatic system and potentially even in the veins, return blood to the heart. Could be also in the urinary tract itself. And when we go through and we do the stuff that we did, it really unwinds those blockages, and you're able to take in more fluid and you're eliminating more. And so, you're flushing out the fluid that's been, that you've been holding on to, the body's been holding on to, the retention. You start losing that, but like you said, like more starts to move, like places where it's built up starts to move, and you're able to take in more fluid, and it's not kicking it off into the tissues. And really, you could take it a step further and say, it's almost important to take on more fluid because you're having a greater flushing effect. And so it will really change like areas in your body where there's achiness, where there was fluid retention, where, especially in the lower limbs and things, but even like back issues and things, it changes it. And it doesn't mean that you have to do it all the time. A lot of times you just kind of have to jumpstart it, and then you can keep taking on like more fluid, and it keeps flushing it out of your system. And it really improves the quality of life because the body starts functioning better and feeling better. The one thing that I can't remember if I said it or not, but when you really started increasing fluids quite a bit, just some sort of like electrolyte replacement, or like I usually like take like a multi-mineral or that stuff, cell food, that's the water-based, minerals. And just to make sure that you're moving so much fluid and you're releasing so much fluid, I just want to make sure that you maintain like mineral balance.
Okay, it definitely gave me more energy on my legs.
It can be life-changing, honestly.
Yeah, it was.
It can be totally life-changing.
I wasn't able to walk for a while because of how much it hurted. I have more energy in my legs. I'm able to walk. I also wanted to let you know that they're using now the lymphatic system to treat for COVID. There's a video. It's called by young.
It's not surprising. Yeah, it's not surprising.
Her name is Cancer Rehab Patient, and it came out today. And the name of the video says how to do lymphatic drainage massages to help recover for for COVID-19. So if you want to watch it, maybe there's
it's helping with like the reduction of the post-infection symptoms, or like getting over the symptoms and the infection itself.
I think a little bit of both, and the doctors are starting to use it. So I was wondering if you watch the video, if you could come up with something that we can do energetically And like I said, I want to let you know that these classes that I've been taking have helped me a lot. A lot of the brain classes, out of nowhere, I'm starting to pick up, like words just come in, and I'm starting to use words that I've never used before. And it's more like I feel smarter in this.
I'm laughing because I was like, good for you. Yeah, that's exactly what starts to happen.
And also I live in the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx, and I work at a city hospital. It's very hostile here, but whatever protocols I'm doing, I've been around a lot of COVID patients and people. I've been okay, and I'm not vaccinated. I kind of don't want to do the vaccine thing right now. I'm like you. I'm just holding off on that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's such uncharted areas. Like it's just it's hard to make a good choice right now, and it's not solid ground on what you can make as a good choice or a bad choice. It's really an odd time.
Yeah, definitely. But I wanted to say once again, thank you very much. I have a few people that might be reaching out to you for healing. I hope that's okay if I share your email.
Sure.
Just wanted to say thank you, and that it's working.
You're so welcome. I'm glad the lymphatics, the other byproduct to doing the lymphatic stuff on the weekend that we did is usually there's a little bit of weight loss too. Because you're holding on to the fluid, and part of that is, it eventually turns to like mucus, and it turns to all kinds of things, and it slows down processes in the body. You start moving everything, and all of a sudden, your appetite changes, for one, and two, you start shedding a little bit of weight. And the issue, I think, is not so much sometimes people's issues with food, it might be issues with water. You know, though taking in more fluid definitely changes your appetite to where you don't crave the things that you normally crave. And the lymphatic system, you know, we joke around here as like anybody asks me anything, I just go lymphatic system, lymphatic system, lymphatic system. It's just, it's so impactful on so many levels, on so many things, that it's just, you know, we'd kind of dabbled with it in some of the other classes, but you know, we can still even add to what we did over the weekend. But I mean, I think that was a good chunk of, like, you just want to generally just flush out the lymphatic system. That is a great way to go through and do
Yeah,
it.
I agree.
Yeah.
It definitely did. It did a lot for me. It definitely
Yeah.
helped. And then I started changing the eating, because your eating also affects it also.
Yeah.
So whatever I started doing after, and it just worked. Like everything just
Yeah.
started working, and I came down about 8 pounds. So I
Yeah.
was like, good. And I just keep going. I wasn't even going to the bathroom, and I was starting to develop a lot of UTIs.
Yes, exactly.
And
Exactly.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I feel better, because I feel like I'm releasing more. I'm going to the bathroom more. Like I have a less chance of getting another UTI.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Once
Yeah.
again, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Glad you're feeling better. Keep us posted, okay?
I will.
Go ahead, Barbara.
Hey, Miss Barbara.
Hey there. I feel like my nervous system might have gone into hyperdrive a little bit.
Like you got agitated or stirred up?
Stirred up. Initially, it
Stirred up?
felt like prickly all down my spine and in the joints of my arms and legs. And that quieted down towards the end. And now it just feels like it's moving fast and maybe flushing things. I don't really know, but it.
Yeah, it's a way to, you're flushing things and it's impacting the fight flight system in your autonomic nervous system.
Definitely feels like the nervous system's being worked on, but I don't have a sense.
Yeah. But it feels like it's more calming down right now, or does it feel like it's just locked in what it's doing?
I thought it was beginning to calm down, but it feels like it's still pretty active. It's not the prickliness, it's just pretty active.
And like internally, like emotionally, you feel good, you feel bad, you feel neutral? Like, what do you feel?
I feel good. In fact, after the first round, when you asked us, the word that came to me was pleasant. It's like, was calm, upbeat, but not excited. I don't feel agitated. I feel like I have.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if there's just a kind of a re-education happening. I kind of don't like that it's happening late at night when you're, you know, needing to go to bed. But at the same time, I don't know that it's necessarily a bad thing.
Okay.
You know, I would say let it ride out for about 15 or 20 minutes. And if you're not coming down, start using something like spikenard or kava kava or vetiver, even lavender, just to try to calm the system down, just so that you get a good night's sleep. You know, I don't want to have a disruption of night of sleep, but could be that it's just rewiring your nervous system a little bit. I mean, that's actually kind of the goal of what we're doing. So
I wondered, sleep's not been great the last 2 nights for whatever reason, but it hasn't felt quite like this. Thank you.
Okay, keep us posted. If you have a difficult night, email us in the morning.
And then Tracy, your hands up.
Hi, remember you had suggested that I use for my kid to clean my kidneys to do the sandalwood. Well, I drink a lot of water, like I'm talking a lot, and I don't pee a lot. So can I take the Shazendra at the same time? I mean, not the same time, but while I'm taking it?
I would actually wait a little bit on the Shazendra. I mean, Shazendra will definitely be in the mix, but I'd probably, you're not releasing a lot? Is that what's happening?
Not really, like it's not.
I would increase the sandalwood.
Okay.
Like,
I'm
what are you
taking-
doing? Just like a drop or two or what?
I'm taking 3 drops. Well, I was taking 4 drops and then I changed it to 3. So I know that's a lot. And I have a lot of inflammation and stuff. So I was just wondering if,
Like, when you say a lot of water, tell me, like, how much is a lot of water?
like 3.5 liter bottles a day. So what's that? 5 liters a day? That's a lot of water.
Are you thirsty?
Not remarkably more than usual. At first, I think when I take it, I'm probably a little bit more thirsty, but I can't really, it's negligible. And I did it for a week, and then I stopped for a few days. And then I just started back today.
Yeah, let's go ahead and have you do the Shazandra for like a couple of drops a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And stop the sandalwood?
Let's have you stop the sandalwood and do Shazandra for like maybe just 3 or 4 days and then report back. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Well, you guys, love you. I got to step into another meeting. So really good questions and everything. We will continue next Tuesday. And so some of you I'll see tomorrow night and some on the weekend for the chakra class. And if not, I'll see you next Tuesday. So
Thanks. Love you.
Thank you, Greg.
take care. Love you guys.
Bye.
Take
Thank
care.
you so much.
Thank you.